Hello, everybody watching from home. We are here today at the first ever Backstage Pass at Palantir's AIP Con. My name is Amit. You've probably seen some of my videos online about the company. I've been covering the company for about 3 years now. So Palantir invited me to get an exclusive behind-the-scenes look on AIP Con and see how they do what they do. Now, for the previous 3 AIP conferences, usually when we had a coffee break in person, Palantir's online stream kind of just shut down. And in true Palantir spirit, they wanted to innovate, push the envelope further. So now for the 4th edition of AIPCon, I get the honor and privilege of moderating a panel for the next 25 minutes to actually figure out transformational use cases of AIP. And I have 3 lovely Palantir employees with me to help. I'm here with Chad Walquist, a former Palantir customer and now a lead AIP architect. Yep. Jack Dobson, forward deployed engineer who leads Palantir's go-to-market strategy and boot camps. And Natalie Schneider, who leads Keynote creation at Palantir's AIPCon and is a Keynote community content curator. Jack, Chad, Nat, thanks for being here with me.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Great. So a couple of things before we get started. There are about 250 people here at AIPCon. 4 keynotes just happened. We have 4 more coming up, and we have 70 other presentations throughout the entirety of the day. Each customer gets their own personalized agenda. That personalized agenda influences how they experience AIPCon, so every customer gets to network with different customers learning different use cases about AIP. Now, ironically, this was actually called FoundryCon 12 months ago. Palantir released AIP, it became AIPCon. 12 months later, we are at the 4th edition of AIPCon, and I'm super excited to learn more about AIP. Let's get started with our first customer, AARP. They capitalized on how they used AIP to build their next best member offer, which radically changed the way they offered benefits for maintaining retention. Nat, what did you take away from their presentation?
You know, AARP is actually our first marketing use case that we've seen on the AIPCon stage. And selfishly, as someone who works on the content side of the business, I was incredibly excited about what we were going to see today. And personalization is often a marketing buzzword that gets thrown around. And as you guys know, it's usually an experience of going to a web page and hopefully a chatbot gets your first name right as it greets you. You know, it's kind of a crapshoot at that point. But really what AARP is doing is transforming their entire digital experience for their members. And as Sammy mentioned up on stage, they've got over 37 million members who are engaging in their digital ecosystem. So that's across their website, their apps, and the marketing ecosystem as well. So you can imagine just the amount of data they're ingesting from a member standpoint, it's huge. And Chad and Jack, you can probably speak to more of what's happening on the back end, but a couple points that Sammy touched on, which I think are incredibly compelling, are the insights that they're gaining in order to revolutionize their marketing operations. And it's incredibly invigorating to see what they've done in just over a year. It's a very short amount of time.
No, I mean, they mentioned, what, 45 days for that first prototype? That's absolutely incredible.
Crazy.
And the scale as well, I think speed and scale are 2 very key points there, but also it's the fact that, as you say, like they're such a massive organization, massive variety of data sources.
It's huge.
The fact that they're able to hit that level of context, because marketing at the end of the day, making decisions, it's all a game of context, right? It's all about if you had a perfect picture of your demographics, your markets, your engagement with your customers, and of course your internal processes as well. Like, if you have all that context, you can make the optimal decision, but that is way more complex than it sounds, right? So the fact they were able to achieve that first prototype in 45 days, unbelievable.
And the scale, 37 million members, that's not easy.
Yeah. So AARP is an insurance business. Another company trying to ensure the success of their insurance business is Sampo Japan, which was one of Palantir's first Japanese clients back in 2019. Now, they have a $100 million AIP use case around streamlining the underwriting process for insurance. Jack, a little birdie told me you were one of the first people to be at a boot camp with Sampo Japan.
Oh yeah.
How was that like, and what did you take away from their presentation?
Yeah, 100%. We ran our first ever AIP boot camp in Chicago in July of 2023, and then we all got straight on a flight and off to Tokyo for the 2nd ever boot camp. So I think the thing with Sampo, and like, remember that context, $100 million of impact. They were like the 2nd boot camp ever to happen. Like, we didn't have all of these AIPCon talks, we didn't have all of that impact necessarily. They were ready to embrace not only a brand new product, but also the strategy, really revolutionizing the way that they run these processes that they know like front to back. Like, this is the core of their business. As they mentioned, hundreds of years worth of history, right? But the fact they were able to redefine that and keep that human in the loop component as well, this is a true marrying of like brand new state-of-the-art technology and the power of their people, their expertise. And I think the fact that they were willing to embrace that from day one, the 2nd ever boot camp, it's been incredible to see.
Yeah, that's all, like, just be able to capture the institutional knowledge. Like, that is such a big deal that I can now take all this knowledge that people have and wield it for everybody. I can start to automate things. Like that capture of that institutional knowledge is so important. That's kind of a theme you're going to see across a lot of different customers. The AIPs allow you to capture that and encode it into your business and then give it to everybody.
I think actually on that, like something you're also going to see as a theme is that capture never stops, right? With every decision that's made, it becomes a flywheel where you're constantly adding to that ontology. You're constantly compounding on what you already have, and I think the fact that that's a human-driven process, but augmented, supported by AI, it's unique, but it's perfect for what they're trying to achieve.
Human in the loop is consistently going to be a theme that we're going to see and have seen throughout AIPCon, not only on the keynote main stage, but also throughout the show floor. It's really about keeping people at the center of that decision-making model.
Right, now Palantir has experienced many tailwinds as they've released AIP. Another company that has seen tailwinds that have led them to go north when you get a tailwind is Northwind. Northwind is a really interesting company from the Midwest. Mike Bosworth was actually at the first AIPCon 12 months ago, and the reason he decided to buy Palantir software is because of how pro-America Palantir is. Chad, what did you get from Northwind's presentation about building a real customer-facing product?
Yeah, well, I absolutely love this for so many different reasons. Like, I'm from the Midwest. To hear about these companies that are injecting AI into their applications. Sorry about that.
I think while Chad gets sorted out, I think
we'll get
something else
ready.
about Northwind, which I think is fascinating. To your point, they have that ethos, they have that kind of background of what's important in terms of decision making, how you build these products. The thing to really capture, the thing to remember from that presentation, 85 people in that organization. It is insane how much they've achieved with such a small team. And you know what? That's the Palantir ethos, right? Forward deployed, sitting side by side with your customers, a small team, a scrappy team, but the right people, that's the right product, they're able to do incredible things. Like, you saw some of those outcomes, right, even with such a small team.
And again, touching on that point of really centering around the people that you have and up-leveling that institutional knowledge, that's going to be a key theme that we're going to see throughout the day as well. And Northwind is really putting that across all of their customers. So it's not just something that they're using internally, it's something that they're implementing across the board.
I mean, it's so impressive, it was enough to make your mic fly off, right?
Like,
yeah, exactly. We just used AIP
really.
to find the microphone, and now we're back.
That's a real reaction line.
I think the key part there that like the ontology SDK allows you to embed AI into your existing applications. That's such a big deal that, hey, I don't have to rebuild an entire new application. In my products I have today, I can inject AI through the OSDK, the ontology software development kit, the SDK of your business, now with AI into your existing products. That's amazing.
All right, so another company that's not only responsible for the health of their business, but also the health of their patients is Tampa General Hospital. Tampa General just extended their partnership with Palantir for another 7 years, allowing AIP to become the core analytics platform across the entire company. Nat, what did you take away from their presentation?
I really think Tampa General Hospital is a perfect encapsulation of what it means to lean in, especially with our partnership with Palantir. Just over 2 years ago, they brought Palantir on as their analytics platform. A year ago, we saw them here at AIPCon, the very first one, and they were just beginning their AIP journey. And today, they've announced a major partnership that's going to redefine the way they're doing business for years to come. And you just saw him on stage, but we couldn't get enough of him, so we're bringing him back. John Corus, CEO of Tampa General Hospital, tell us a little bit more about why you've chosen to lean into your partnership with Palantir.
Well, a couple of reasons why we wanted to we're leaning in, and we've extended our relationship with you another 7 years. One, your people are outstanding.
We agree.
You're smart, you're well educated, you're thoughtful, you do a great job at listening, and you move really quickly. We're a tough customer, there's no question about it. So this is like not a paid advertisement by any stretch of the imagination. It's not. We can be a very difficult customer. One of the things that we struggle with in our industry is we move a little too slow. You act as an accelerant to the work that we're doing. So that's one big reason. Your technology platform is outstanding. And you've already heard lots about that in different industries, and that applies in our industry for sure. You're changing the DNA of our institution. I mean, that's the way folks have to think about it, at least in the healthcare space. You're literally changing the way we think, the way we perform, the way we ask questions and deliver care. So when you kind of put all of that together, and you think about the quality of the people, the quality of the products, the culture and the organization that you've created under Alex's leadership and so many others, to us it was a no-brainer. And we're culturally aligned, which is very important to us. And speed is incredibly important, because in our world, you have to be really good at what you do, but you also have to be really fast at doing what you do.
Absolutely.
And you allow that to happen.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us.
Sure.
We really appreciate it.
It's great to be here.
Awesome, John. Thank you for joining. Let's talk about boot camps. This go-to-market approach that it seems like Palantir has revolutionized in terms of how to sell to the enterprise has pretty much taken over their entire company. Yesterday, Palantir announced they've done 1,300 boot camps since they started a year ago. Jack, you were one of the people leading the effort on this. How are boot camps in June of 2024 different than boot camps in July of 2024?
Yeah, great question. I mean, look, the crusade continues, right? We've had like 900 boot camps in 2024 alone, I think 500 in just the US. So, I mean, we're going as fast as we've ever gone before. I think in terms of how things have changed, it's important to think what's changed and then also what's not changed, right? So what's not changed is the fact that it's still hands-on keyboard. This is still focused on getting out the slide deck, getting out the lecture, the presentation, focusing on, let's actually build solutions to these problems. It's building intuition, it's definitely building a thought process around how to approach decision making, how to approach building your first AI product.
Right.
But the fact that now we're able to actually like take people on a journey in product, actually build something, have them walk away with something tangible that actually solves a problem, like that remains the same. In terms of what's changed, is the product is moving faster than ever, right? So I mean, I see a new video come out from Chad on YouTube every week, and the next day, I'm at a boot camp and we're getting hands-on with it, we're building with it, right? And actually the fun thing about the boot camps is it's kind of a way to see early stage product as well, like the stuff that's going to be on a video in a few weeks or months. We've already got users, I think I was with United a few months ago, and they were getting hands-on with product that was in beta, like early testing, but it solved a problem there and then. Like that's crazy, like the opportunity to do that in person, shoulder to shoulder, there's nothing else.
We just need to figure out a way to clone you so you can go to all of
I was going to say, like 900 boot camps, I tried to make them all. I tried to do it, but we'll see.
I have,
What?
Oh, I was just going to touch on, I had multiple conversations. We had a welcome reception last night, and the theme of boot camps kept coming up. And speed to value was certainly a recurring thing that folks mentioned. Boot camps really enable for us to scale at customers, and it's something, as you mentioned, that continuously happens. It's not just a one-time, one and done. We are constantly pushing the edge.
All right, let's talk about some new products as well. So piggybacking off boot camps, Jack, you said that at these boot camps, a lot of new Palantir products are actually developed with customers. What is one that you've been the most excited about in the past 12 months?
Yeah, I mean, look, the overarching theme here, if we were to take one thing away, it's production or bust. We're seeing repeat customers come back and do their second, third, fourth, fifth boot camp. They're not only building new use cases, but they're taking that intuition and saying, I want to scale. I want to go to production, move out of science project, move out of test, and into actually driving real decisions at the front line. And the product is geared, ready to do that. So within Logic, the integration between Logic and Automate is better than ever. The ability to go from building your first AI function on a model of your choice, and then productionalize that, get it automated, triggered based on criteria you define, with retry strategies, batch executions, like everything you need to do this at scale, that's all ready to go out of the box. The other thing I'd add to that is evaluations. AIP evals, you're going to see that at the event today. There's already some demos online you can take a look at. I think you've probably done a demo or two. But evals are the answer to the question of, okay, well I built my first function, how do I build trust? How do I build conviction that this is actually resulting in a good output? And it's something that's granular, right? You can do structured evaluations, you can do model graded, there's so much optionality, and we're seeing people come build their first model, their first function rather, and then immediately take that to the evaluation stage within a morning, within a day. It's incredible.
Chad, what do you think is the biggest bottleneck for companies when they're trying to make decisions, and why do you think when they go to boot camps, that bottleneck feels like it could be resolved?
The speed that they can go to production, get value. And when we talk about it, it's the data, the logic, the actions of their business. So the ontology being the backbone, once you ontologize your business, I get all these new things. It's amazing to be able to go so fast. It's basically, as I'm thinking about it, I'm building it in real time, which is just absolutely insane to see.
Jumping on that as well, like when we think about decision making, it's not just data, it's not just integration, it's not just analytics and visualization, it's the logic of your business, the kinetics of how decisions are made, it's the actions to actually allow you to enact those decisions and make the updates that are necessary. When people see those pieces come together, they realize, oh, I'm not here just to gain visibility or just to like unify data, I'm here to drive decision making. The fact that the ontology is beyond just data, it's logic and action as well, that's the real accelerator that I've seen at these boot camps.
Yeah. Which brings me to the point, the builder community.
Wait, so let me set this up, because I've got to set this up.
Hold that thought.
Chad, you are becoming one of the biggest rock stars in the Palantir community. You're coming for my job here, based on the content you're putting out on social media. You're actually engaging with us, actually helping us understand what Palantir is doing. Today, Palantir announced the Palantir developer community. Yes. What should the community expect?
Yes. So you go to community.palantir.com. The idea here is this is where we're going to enable people to understand how they can go build, interact with their peers. So CodeStrap, shout out to you. This is something we've been requesting. So this is absolutely awesome because now we have a community for our builders. So when you talk about AIP now, build with AIP, great. When you have questions, where do you go? Well, now we have the community. So you can go in there, interact with Palantirians, with partners, with other customers, and we're all working together to build the new, latest stuff.
I love it. I think the community is going to use this. It's going to be exciting, and there's actually going to be information from Palantirians themselves to our questions. Let's get into a preview of these last 4 keynotes we have. Jacob, one of Palantir's historical partners, is presenting. Nat, what should we expect from them?
Well, for my AIP Con live viewers, Jacobs is a familiar face for us. They joined us a year ago, back at our first AIP Con, and they were actually one of our first customers to build on AIP. And to see where they were versus where they are now, I'm very excited for what Shannon Miller is going to be sharing today. And not to give too much away, but I think folks on the line are going to like the products that they're seeing.
100%. I mean, the thing for me about Jacobs is all about redefining ambition, right? They set this roadmap, they set this art of the possible ambition at the first AIP Con just over a year ago, and now they're not only coming back to say, hey, we delivered on that roadmap, we did what we planned, they're coming back to say we delivered on that, and then we actually realized it wasn't ambitious enough. We can do more, we can 10x the strategy. So it's almost like not only delivering, not only getting to production, but realizing you can go even further with new use cases. That's so exciting to see.
So as these customers are moving fast, another one, Fujitsu, is moving really fast. What should we expect from them, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, look, another customer that joined me at the second ever boot camp in Tokyo, they went from having never seen AIP, much like most of the world at that stage, to having 2 production use cases in something like 3 days and presenting to their leadership that week. Honestly, they took to AIP better than some Palantirians, honestly. It was like, we've got to deal with like the shift and the change in strategy. They just fully threw themselves into it, fully embraced the mindset of driving better decision making, and also a really kind of solution-oriented mindset. Like it wasn't a case of we sat there speaking for hours about scoping use cases. They knew exactly what they wanted to solve as they walked in the door, and that's how we got to move so quickly in just 3 days.
And I think that's the key point here is like, I am building my intuition about how these new forms of compute with LLMs allow me to solve problems in new and different ways. Building that intuition means I can solve problems I couldn't solve, or I solve them in new ways. These boot camps allow people to build that intuition. Like that's the magic, because now it unlocks like, I know all of my problems, I got to attack those in different ways. It's so exciting to see.
The most difficult part for me was just trying to decide what we were going to show. The amount of applications that Fujitsu is currently deploying, the limit does not exist at this point, so trying to pare that down was a challenge in itself.
Yeah. And their strategy as well, I mean, it's a really novel approach for the Japanese market. They have kind of brought the ethos of Palantir, but made it very unique. Like this is truly Fujitsu plus Palantir, bringing a new perspective, a new approach to solutions and decision making. I think honestly, they're setting a bar for our partnerships. We have a massive partner ecosystem, and Fujitsu, they're really crushing it.
Okay, another company that's presenting is Paraxel, which is a big company in the life sciences space. Palantir just signed a partnership with them. Chad, what do you expect from them?
Well, what I love about this is, how do I get therapies that can save lives to production quicker? That's the ethos of our company, that's ethos of our product.
Right.
So we're helping them get clinical trials through the process, out to people, and making an impact, saving lives. Like, that's exciting. How can you not be excited about that?
Our last keynote, another customer reaching new heights. United, Jack, you're flying across the world. You went to their headquarters. What do you expect from United?
Yeah, I mean, they've had a couple of boot camps. They brought something like 50, 60 people to a couple of boot camps in Chicago, so they're really leaning into it. I think the exciting thing about their use case is the fact that this is like working with their tech ops team. I don't want to give too much away, but they're building on data that is not brand new, right? They're a long-standing customer. They've been working with us since 2018. The data that powers the use case you're going to hear about has been in their ontology since pretty much day one, since 2018. So it wasn't the fact that they couldn't get access to the data. They were already using Foundry to do that integration. but it was the fact that this data was unstructured, it was messy, it was like required a lot of manual work to actually interpret and drive decisions. So what AIP brought to the table is leveraging what they already had right in front of them. They realized the answer was there, they just needed the tools to better operationalize it. And again, that idea of they already had the people, they had the context, they had the expertise, but this was just enabling them to go so much faster. So I think it's, I don't know, there's a theme there of like sometimes the problem's right in front of you or the solution's right in front of you, you just need the right tools.
Now, Chad, people don't know this about you. You're a lead AIP architect, but you were a previous Palantir customer.
Yes, yes.
What transformational use cases did you experience as a customer that led you to end up coming at the company?
Well, I mean, I think there's 3 or 4 things. I think speed is an asset. We keep talking about speed. And when you have a connected tool chain that allows you to go from start to finish in a platform as fast as you're thinking, that's amazing. And so then the other thing, when you connect those things together through the ontology, I'm moving from local optimization to global optimization, chaining things together. Understand when I make a decision here, what's the impact upstream and downstream from that? That's so powerful. Because then it comes back to like, hey, I made a plan. The plans are great, but they're usually wrong, right?
Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So some of them are useful, great. But now when the rubber meets the road and I'm in the field, on the ground, what's the ground truth of what's going on right now, right? That's where we are. We live at the edge, helping people make the best decision in the moment.
And this is a great example that I picked up on. Oh, we're running out.
Yeah,
That's my call to stop talking. But the thing, I wanted to call back to Tampa General because they talked about how they're trying to root their organization in analytics. They have so many different user personas. They have, obviously, the people on the front line. They have architects, data stewards, all these people. They have to work in lockstep to actually enable better decision making. So in terms of bringing light to the darkness, I think that's a great example we've just heard.
Yep.
All right, so we got 1 minute left. Let's do a quick roundtable. What are you most excited about for the rest of the day, Chad?
All the use cases around the ontology SDK. To be able to have an SDK of your business just blows people away whenever I show it. Now it's 70% of the demos I do, OSDK.
Jack?
Did you see that product drop at the start of the live stream? Like
that video was epic.
Was I the only one
sick.
losing
Yeah.
it? Like, if you are on the live stream and you didn't see it, rewind. You've got a few seconds. Like, you've got a couple of
Harp
minutes.
thought it was dungeon music, but it was pretty
Yeah,
okay.
like it's better than dental music.
It brings
put it that
some
way.
flavor.
Yeah, but honestly, the thing about that video, other than it being incredible, is the fact that every one of the products you saw there is ready to be hands-on keyboard today. People are going to be building with it throughout the afternoon. Our 70+ customers are going to be demoing it live, stuff they've already built with it. So like, that's not the future, that's today.
Matt?
And I have to say, you know, with the last few seconds here, content is king, and I can't wait to see the conversations that come out. But mostly, I'm excited to play Oprah. Got a little gift for the crew here.
Uh-oh, what do we got here?
Oh, okay.
we
Oh, look
got-
at this.
Wow.
Wow.
I did not know this was
no.
happening.
Under
Hold
the
on
seat.
here.
We've got a surprise here.
There we go.
Oh,
My
man.
final
This is
thought.
great. AI Mint.
Can't have
that
Palantir
is
without
awesome.
AI.
I know
Alright.
exactly the
Jack,
hat that I've been
Chad,
wanting,
Nat, thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me from
Thanks,
home.
everybody.
Now we're going back to AIPCon.
All right.